Funny enough, it started with a haircut. Went to go get a haircut at a place down there, actually right next to 4th Street Cafe. And by happenstance, they had a new system that double booked. And dude ran in, needed a haircut for a bachelor party. So I was like, I don't need it that bad. Go ahead. Found Psycho Billy Barber and met Jake Shook. Over talking to him multiple times, he had kind of asked one night like what I was up to, and I was like, not really any friends, kind of been in town, just work, that's all I do. So he invited me out to Lido's to go play pool, drink, talk, whatever. Really just kind of started talking about nothing, and it kind of became like a once a month thing. We'd like hang out. And so finally he had said something about like his church group, and I kind of just made fun of him for it. And was like, yeah, you'll never catch me there. I was like, there's no way. And so kept hanging out, got into cars with him, learned that, we were both into cars, started working around on stuff together and just joking around in the garage. And then next thing I know, more times hanging out, I found myself kind of just talking to him about things like, man, why does this thing suck? Or why does that thing suck? Like, I don't enjoy it anymore. It's had a 10-year relationship with a girl, and she left, and it was, any and old debauchery I could think of. I was like, that's got to make me feel better. And I found myself talking to him, and I'm like, why does this stuff just suck now? It's like, it was so fun. Like, it sounded so great. And now I hate it every time. It's like, it's 10 minutes of joy for nothing. And then, he kept talking about God, and I was like, just shut up. I was like, no, don't do it. But then I found myself having like super deep talks with him till like 4 a.m. And finally, like, I was like, I stopped doing all that, just like cold turkey. I was like, I'm not going to drink really anymore. I'm not going to do drugs. I'm not going to sit there and try to use women. I was like, it doesn't make sense. It's not giving me anything. And so I realized that left me with literally no friends. I was left all alone, and I was like, I don't know how to make friends. I was like, all the friends I had have been gone for years. And it was the typical, well, I've got some friends you can meet. And I was like, I'm not coming to your church thing. He goes, well, don't come to the reading, but come hang out after. He's like, meet some people, talk to them. I was like, okay. I was like, well, for I think 2 months after that, I'd only sit on the porch. I wouldn't even walk in the house. And then we had talked, and he had said something about a teaching. He's like, it's one that kind of goes over some stuff we talked about. And I remember looking at him, and I was like, this is your one time that you get to ask me to come to a teaching. And then I didn't miss one for months. In the times of like kind of not wanting to go to a home church, Nick Stewart, if you know him, needed somebody to replace his water heater. And so being me, I was like, I can do it. I was like, it's not hard, it's easy. I literally do it for work. And so he got me over at his house. We're sitting there replacing a water heater. And he's like, hey, as soon as we're done with this, like, you want to look at this book? And it was Discovering God. And I was like, yeah, I guess. It's like, I don't know why I'd want to really do that, but I was like, we can take a look at it. And so we started reading through Discovering God together. So we'd go to the gym every Saturday, and we'd go back to his house, and we'd read a chapter or two, or hang out for like an hour. And so it was like just prior to Christmas of 23. We were sitting at the ministry house on Weber, and Jake Shook's like, stop waiting. He's like, why don't you just do it now? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready. He's like, come on, try it. And then something clicked in me. It's like, what's the worst thing that can happen? From everything I already had been doing to what I'm trying to do now, why not at least try it? I've tried everything else. What's the worst thing? If this doesn't work, I go back off to, do everything I've already done. And so with Jake and Nick in the basement at Weber, I think 2 weeks before Christmas, prayed for God to, make his sacrifice count for me, and really haven't stopped trying to make it count since. The friendships actually last. There's still people I talk to 2 years later now, or almost 2 years later, and it's oh, these people haven't okay, you were cool for, a weekend to party with and now you're gone. It's these people still call and be like, hey, you got free time to hang out. I'm why do you want to hang out with me? It's and that also was a big thing in the beginning, was I fought it for a while because it was why would God want me? I have this whole slew of things that I've just done wrong. It's you don't want the bad person. And it actually is funny because that was the one point that really got driven home to me. Is that's why he wants you. He's he wants the lost, he wants the broken. And from where I was in my life, I was you don't get much more broken than where I was. And it was just something that it was funny that it took so long to realize that it was myself and me not thinking that I deserved it is what really had killed everything for me for a minute. And I was no, you don't want me. Nobody wants me. So God won't. And then it was, yeah, he's the first person that really does. And so that was just that first big step for me, was to take that and go off that. I've been here since.